Imagine holding in your hands a piece of history so old, it predates the pyramids, predates Homer's epics, and even predates the very concept of time as we understand it. It's not just an artifact, it's a window into the earliest sparks of human ingenuity. These ancient remnants whisper stories from a distant past, where humanity first began to bridge the gap between survival and sophistication, turning thoughts into written symbols. The idea of writing itself was a revolutionary leap forward, a profound moment in history when our ancestors realized they could preserve their knowledge, communicate across time, and leave their mark on eternity. But what did humanity's first attempts at writing look like? What motivated them to inscribe these early documents? Were they mundane records of daily life, grand proclamations of power, or deeply personal expressions of the human spirit? And most intriguingly, what do these ancient documents tell us about who we were and who we still are? To answer these questions, we must journey back thousands of years to an era when civilizations were just beginning to flourish. From the heart of Mesopotamia to the banks of the Nile, these documents reveal the earliest records of humanity's struggles, triumphs, and emotions. Each of the 5 oldest surviving documents serves as a unique puzzle piece, piecing together a mosaic of ancient life. The Kish Tablet, created between 3500 and 3200 BCE, stands as one of the earliest examples of written communication. The Narmer Palette, dated to the 31st century BCE, captures the unification of Egypt under a single ruler and the rise of a powerful kingdom. The Palermo Stone, from the 25th century BCE, details the reigns of Egyptian kings with meticulous precision, offering glimpses into their governance. And then there's the oldest surviving love poem, dating back to 1800 BCE, a tender expression of emotion that proves the heart of humanity has remained unchanged through the ages. Finally, the Instructions of Shuruppak, composed around 2600 BCE, delivers timeless wisdom passed from a father to his son, showing that even in antiquity, the desire to guide and teach the next generation was universal. These documents, though separated by time and geography, share a common thread. They reflect the birth of human expression. They show us a world where writing was a tool of power, preservation, and poetry. Imagine the awe these artifacts must have inspired when they were first created. Picture the careful hands that etched symbols into clay or carved into stone, knowing their work would outlive them. Writing was not just a practical tool, it was a bridge to the divine, a way to communicate with gods, ensure the prosperity of kingdoms, and even whisper love to a future reader. These early writings are the ancestors of every book, every screenplay, every email, and every text message you've ever sent or received. Today, we'll dive deep into the stories of these remarkable documents that bridge the gap between prehistory and history. Each one is a testament to humanity's desire to create, to connect, and to endure. Together, they form a narrative tapestry that captures the earliest flickers of human thought and emotion. So buckle up, because the journey we're about to embark on will take us through the dawn of human civilization, across millennia, and into the very heart of what it means to be human. Let's explore the legacy of the 5 oldest documents in the world and uncover the stories they've carried through time. The Kish Tablet. Our journey begins in the cradle of civilization, ancient Mesopotamia, around 3500 to 3200 BCE. Here in the fertile lands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, humanity took its first steps toward organized society. The city of Kish, a thriving hub of trade and governance, witnessed a momentous event, the birth of written language. In this bustling city, surrounded by marketplaces, temples, and early administrative offices, the Kish Tablet emerged as one of the earliest surviving examples of writing. Discovered in the ruins of Kish, this unassuming clay tablet doesn't look like much at first glance. It's small, rough, and inscribed with symbols that seem indecipherable to the modern eye. But within its hardened surface lies a story of monumental importance. The symbols on the Kish Tablet are examples of proto-cuneiform, an early writing system that would later evolve into the more familiar cuneiform script of the Sumerians. These marks weren't just scribbles. They represented humanity's first attempts to record information, shifting society from oral traditions to written history. So what might have been recorded on the Kish Tablet? Historians believe it could be a record of trade transactions, inventory lists, or temple offerings. In a society transitioning from small farming villages to complex urban centers, keeping track of resources became essential. Imagine a merchant in Kish, tallying grain deliveries or cataloging livestock, painstakingly etching these early symbols into wet clay. Each mark was an effort to ensure accuracy and accountability, a critical step in managing a growing civilization. But the Kish Tablet is more than just a record of goods. It's a testament to human ingenuity. It shows that our ancestors didn't just want to survive. They wanted to organize, innovate, and create systems that would outlast them. The ability to write transformed Mesopotamian society, paving the way for laws, literature, and even the first recorded names in history. The importance of the Kish Tablet extends beyond its practical use. It represents a shift in human thought, a realization that information could be preserved and passed down through generations. In a way, it's the ancestor of every document we use today, from legal contracts to grocery lists. The marks on this clay tablet are the first whispers of a universal human desire, the need to leave a lasting legacy. As we marvel at this ancient artifact, we're reminded that the origins of writing were humble, yet transformative. From the small city of Kish, the spark of written communication would spread, influencing neighboring regions and eventually the world. But while the Kish Tablet represents the birth of writing, it's only the beginning of our journey. Now, let's travel westward to the land of pharaohs and pyramids, where another remarkable document awaits, the Narmer Palette. The Narmer Palette. From the bustling city of Kish, we now journey to ancient Egypt around 3100 BCE. The desert sands whisper tales of gods, kings, and the birth of one of the most enduring civilizations in human history. Among the treasures unearthed from this land of wonders is the Narmer Palette, a ceremonial artifact that captures a pivotal moment, the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt under a single ruler, King Narmer. The Narmer Palette, discovered in Hierakonpolis, is a masterpiece of symbolic storytelling. Carved from smooth slate, its intricate engravings are as captivating today as they were over 5 millennia ago. The palette is a double-sided depiction of power, conquest, and divine right, with Narmer portrayed as a godlike figure wielding authority over a newly unified Egypt. One side shows him wearing the crown of Upper Egypt as he smites a foe, while the other depicts him in the crown of Lower Egypt, leading a procession of his subjugated enemies. Together, these images symbolize the king's dominion over the two lands and his role as the founder of the first Egyptian dynasty. But the Narmer Palette isn't just about politics. It's also a glimpse into the early stages of writing. Scattered throughout the carvings are some of the earliest known hieroglyphs. These symbols were more than decorative. They represented a fledgling writing system that would later become one of the most sophisticated scripts of the ancient world. The palette's carvings include the first recorded depiction of Narmer's name, written in hieroglyphs, framed by the figure of a cow, symbolizing the goddess Hathor. This link between writing and the divine underscores how closely intertwined religion and governance were in ancient Egypt. The purpose of the Narmer Palette is still debated by historians. Was it purely ceremonial, a commemorative artifact to mark Narmer's triumph? Or did it serve as a functional object, such as a grinding surface for cosmetics used in temple rituals? Regardless of its original use, its significance as a historical document is undeniable. It not only records a moment of unification, but also reflects the values, beliefs, and political structure of early Egypt. What makes the Narmer Palette so fascinating is its dual nature. On one hand, it's a work of art with its detailed carvings and intricate designs. On the other, it's a document, a record of a king's achievements and the divine legitimacy of his rule. It's a reminder that writing and art were not separate in ancient times. They were two sides of the same coin, working together to immortalize history. As you trace your fingers over the figures and symbols on the Narmer Palette, you're connecting with a moment when Egypt was born as a unified nation. The palette isn't just a relic. It's a bridge to a time when the world's first great civilization began to take shape. It's a story of power, innovation, and the human desire to remember. But as incredible as the Narmer Palette is, it's only one piece of the puzzle. Now let's move forward a few centuries to another remarkable Egyptian artifact, the Palermo Stone, a document that brings us closer to understanding the details of pharaonic reigns and the events that shaped ancient Egypt. The Palermo Stone. As we journey forward through time, we arrive in Egypt's Old Kingdom, around the 25th century BCE, a period of monumental achievements and meticulous record-keeping. Among the treasures of this era stands the Palermo Stone, a fragment of a larger artifact known as the Royal Annals. This remarkable piece offers a glimpse into the reigns of Egypt's earliest pharaohs and serves as one of the oldest historical records in the world. The Palermo Stone, made of polished black basalt, is engraved with rows of hieroglyphs that chronicle the names of kings, significant events, and even the annual flooding levels of the Nile. Though only a fragment of the original stele survives, the information it holds is invaluable. It records not only the reigns of kings from Egypt's 1st through 5th dynasties, but also pivotal moments such as the construction of temples, military campaigns, and even ceremonial offerings to the gods. Imagine standing in the court of a pharaoh, watching scribes carefully inscribe these events onto stone. Each hieroglyph tells a story, preserving the legacy of Egypt's rulers for future generations. The level of detail is astonishing. For example, the stone records the lengths of Nile floods during specific years, which would have been crucial for understanding agricultural yields and planning the kingdom's economy. This precision highlights the sophistication of Egyptian administration and their understanding of the interconnectedness between nature and society. The discovery of the Palermo Stone itself is a tale of intrigue. Found not in Egypt but in Sicily, it became a prized artifact of the Palermo Archaeological Museum, from which it gets its name. Scholars believe it was originally part of a larger monument housed in a temple, meant to legitimize the divine authority of the pharaohs by linking them to historical and cosmic events. Despite its importance, the Palermo Stone remains shrouded in mystery. The larger royal annals it once belonged to are lost, leaving us with only tantalizing fragments of information. What secrets might the missing pieces hold? What other events, rituals, or achievements were once inscribed on this ancient ledger of kings? These unanswered questions add an air of enigma to an already fascinating artifact. The Palermo Stone bridges the gap between myth and history, blending divine symbolism with practical records of governance. It reminds us that the Egyptians were not only architects of grand monuments, but also meticulous chroniclers of their world. Every line of hieroglyphs carved into the stone represents a desire to connect past, present, and future, a theme that resonates across the ages. As we marvel at the Palermo Stone's meticulous inscriptions, we can't help but wonder about the lives of the people who lived during these recorded events. How did they perceive their kings? Did they know their everyday struggles and triumphs would be etched into stone for eternity? The Palermo Stone isn't just a list of names and events. It's a testament to humanity's enduring desire to document, understand, and leave a legacy. From this record of rulers and rituals, we now step into a world of deeply personal expression. Moving beyond the grandeur of kingship, let's explore the tender and timeless emotions captured in the oldest surviving love poem, a document that proves love is truly as old as time. The oldest surviving love poem. As we leave the grand records of kings and kingdoms behind, we step into a world that feels unexpectedly personal and timeless. Around 1800 BCE, during the Old Babylonian period, a Sumerian poet composed a work unlike anything else from this era. This is the oldest surviving love poem, known today as the love song for Shu-Sin, a piece of writing that transcends its ancient origins to speak directly to the human heart. Imagine a quiet moment in the royal courts of ancient Mesopotamia. The poem, written in cuneiform on a clay tablet, was composed as part of a sacred marriage ritual. It was dedicated to Shu-Sin, a king of Sumer, and his bride, celebrating their union as a symbolic reenactment of the marriage between the fertility goddess Inanna and her consort Dumuzi. This connection between divine mythology and human relationships underscores the deeply spiritual nature of love in Sumerian culture. The words of the poem are tender and evocative, full of passion and reverence. It begins with a declaration of love expressed with imagery that is both vivid and relatable. Bridegroom, dear to my heart, goodly is your beauty, honey sweet. The speaker, presumably the bride, goes on to praise the king's physical and spiritual qualities, blending sensuality with the divine. These lines are not merely a celebration of a romantic bond, but also an affirmation of the king's role as a representative of the gods, responsible for ensuring fertility and prosperity for the land. What makes this poem extraordinary is its emotional depth. Despite being over 3,800 years old, it feels strikingly modern. The sentiments expressed, desire, admiration, and devotion, are universal and timeless. Reading it, one can't help but feel a profound connection to the people of ancient Mesopotamia. They, too, experienced the joys and vulnerabilities of love, and they found ways to immortalize these emotions in writing. The survival of this poem is itself a small miracle. Clay tablets were often used for administrative records, but this tablet carries something far more intimate. Its existence hints at a culture where art and emotion were valued alongside practicality. The fact that someone took the time to compose, inscribe, and preserve these words speaks volumes about the importance of love, both as a personal experience and as a societal ideal. But what was Shusin's reaction when he heard this poem recited? Did he feel a swell of pride, a flush of affection? Did his bride's words echo in his mind as they fulfilled their sacred duties? These unanswered questions add an air of mystery to this ancient work, inviting us to imagine the lives of those who lived and loved in Mesopotamia's distant past. The love song for Shusin is more than just a poem. It's a bridge, a way for us to see the human side of a civilization that might otherwise feel alien and distant. It reminds us that while technology, culture, and society evolve, the core of human emotion remains unchanged. Love, in all its beauty and complexity, binds us across the ages. As we reflect on this ancient expression of devotion, we move next to a different kind of legacy, one rooted not in romance but in wisdom. From the courts of Sumer, we'll explore the instructions of Shuruppak, a father's timeless advice to his son, capturing the essence of what it means to guide future generations. The instructions of Shuruppak. As we near the end of our journey, we turn to a document that speaks not of love, conquest, or governance, but of wisdom. Timeless lessons passed down from one generation to the next. Dating back to around 2600 BCE, the instructions of Shuruppak is one of the oldest surviving pieces of literature. It offers a glimpse into the values and principles that shaped early Sumerian society and reflects the universal human desire to guide and prepare the next generation. The instructions of Shuruppak, inscribed on clay tablets, is framed as advice from King Shuruppak to his son, Ziusudra. Ziusudra is a figure of mythological importance, often associated with the Sumerian flood narrative, a precursor to later tales like Noah's Ark. In the text, Shuruppak imparts practical and moral guidance, teaching his son how to navigate the challenges of life with wisdom, integrity, and prudence. The advice ranges from the deeply philosophical to the surprisingly practical. Shuruppak warns against dishonesty and deceit, emphasizing the importance of fairness in dealings with others. Do not speak falsely, and do not listen to the words of the liar. He advises against sloth, urging hard work and diligence. Do not stand about in the public square. Someone may take offense at you. Other lines are more poetic, offering timeless reflections on human behavior. The fool is as a thorn in the side. The wise man is a shelter in the storm. What's striking about the instructions of Shuruppak is how relatable its teachings remain. These lessons, written thousands of years ago, resonate with the challenges and dilemmas we face today. The text speaks to universal human concerns: honesty, respect, hard work, and the importance of community. It reminds us that while civilizations rise and fall, the core values that guide human behavior remain remarkably consistent. But the instructions of Shuruppak are more than just a guide to personal conduct. They also provide insights into Sumerian society and culture. The text hints at a world where social harmony was prized, where the actions of individuals had a profound impact on the collective. It reveals a society that valued wisdom and sought to preserve it for future generations. recognizing that knowledge was a cornerstone of stability and prosperity. As you read these ancient words, you can almost picture the scene. A father, seated with his son, imparting hard-earned wisdom with a mixture of sternness and affection. The clay tablets on which these lessons were inscribed have outlasted empires, serving as a testament to the enduring power of the written word. They remind us of the importance of legacy, not just in the material sense, but in the values and lessons we pass down. The instructions of Shuruppak is a bridge between the distant past and the present, connecting us to a time when humanity first began to grapple with questions of morality and meaning. It's a reminder that while we live in a world shaped by technology and progress, the wisdom of our ancestors still holds relevance. Their words continue to guide us, inspire us, and remind us of the enduring human desire to teach, learn, and grow. With this document, we conclude our exploration of the 5 oldest surviving records in the world. Each one, whether a clay tablet etched with trade records, a ceremonial artifact celebrating a king's triumph, or a love poem filled with tender emotion, reveals a different facet of human history. Together, they form a tapestry of invention, expression, and connection that continues to inspire awe. But the story doesn't end here. These documents are more than relics of the past. They are living reminders of the ingenuity and creativity that define us as a species. So as you look to the future, remember the lessons of these ancient texts: to write, to create, and to leave a legacy for those who come after. As we step back from these ancient records, it becomes clear that these 5 documents are more than relics of a bygone era. They are a testament to the ingenuity, emotions, and aspirations of early humanity. Each artifact tells its own story, a snapshot of a moment when people sought to preserve their knowledge, celebrate their triumphs, or share their deepest feelings. Together, they form a timeless narrative that connects us to those who came before, revealing the shared threads of human experience. The Kish Tablet represents the birth of writing itself, a groundbreaking leap that allowed humanity to transcend the limitations of memory and oral tradition. The Narmer Palette, carved with triumph and divinity, immortalized the unification of a civilization that would endure for thousands of years. The Palermo Stone, with its meticulous records, exemplifies a society's dedication to understanding and documenting the world around them. The oldest surviving love poem proves that even in the earliest days of writing, humans felt the need to capture the complexities of love and devotion. Finally, the instructions of Shuruppak reminds us that wisdom and guidance are universal, transcending time and geography. These documents may seem like artifacts frozen in time, but they are anything but. They continue to speak to us, not just as historical curiosities, but as echoes of our collective past. They remind us of our ancestors' creativity, resilience, and desire to leave a legacy. Whether through laws, love, or lessons, these ancient writings are a bridge across millennia, linking us to the very beginnings of civilization. And what about the people who created these records? Imagine the hands that etched cuneiform into wet clay or chiseled hieroglyphs into stone. Were they aware of the significance of their work? Did they realize that their creations would endure for thousands of years, surviving wars, floods, and the relentless passage of time? Perhaps they didn't, but their efforts nonetheless laid the foundation for all written communication that followed, shaping the course of human history. As we reflect on these remarkable artifacts, we're reminded of an essential truth. The desire to document, to remember, and to share is intrinsic to who we are as a species. These ancient records are not just about the past. They're about the human spirit's unyielding quest for connection and continuity. They inspire us to consider our own legacy. What stories will we leave for future generations? What words, inscribed today, might one day serve as a bridge to the distant future? The journey of these 5 documents is, in essence, the journey of humanity itself. They mark the beginning of our story, a story still being written. Let these relics inspire us to honor the past, embrace the present, and create a future that future generations will look back on with the same awe and reverence.